Walking with my feet 10 feet off a beam, walking in Memphis, but do I really feel the way I feel?
I'm not a native Memphian, but Memphis has always loomed large in my mind, mostly because of the birth of rock and roll and, unfortunately, because of the death of Martin Luther King Jr. I became a Memphian in 2010 when I moved from Auburn, Alabama, where I'd been teaching at Auburn University. And I moved to Memphis specifically because I wanted to work with students who were more like me, people from working class backgrounds who worked their way through college and, like myself, are first generation college students. Much of my Memphis life takes place here on the corner of Patterson and Walker on the campus of the University of Memphis in a building we like to call Patterson Hall. My office is located on the fourth floor, room 418, and even though you are an online student, you are more than welcome, if you're in the area, to visit me during my office hours. This semester, my physical office hours are Monday and Wednesday from 4 to 5 p.m. and Tuesday from 1:30 to 3:30. I will also be holding virtual office hours for you specifically as an online student, and that information you can find on the syllabus. Because I spend so much time in my office, I've tried to create a comfortable space where I can work and where students feel comfortable coming in and sitting and having a conversation with me. You might notice that there's not even a real desk in the room, and that's on purpose. So when people visit, we sit face to face and just have a conversation. You might also notice looking through the photos that some of my interests are represented. So I have a poster of Aretha Franklin prominently in my office. And yes, that is a Ravens football flag. However, I'm not a Ravens football fan. I'm an Edgar Allan Poe fan, and my husband gave that to me as a joke. Other places on campus I spend a lot of time. The Center for Recreation and Intramural Sports. I love to take yoga every semester with Steve Black because, like you students, we instructors feel the stress of a semester, and so yoga really helps me to keep balanced. I'm also a fan of the McWhirter Library. And if I'm stuck on campus and have to grab a quick bite, you can usually find me over at Tracks, or what we often refer to as the English Annex. You can't really have a conversation about Memphis without talking about barbecue, right? Unfortunately, I'm not a huge barbecue fan. If pushed, I'll probably say Central Barbecue is my favorite, but I'd much rather go to Gus's for the fried chicken. And really, as I get older, the restaurants that I really enjoy are restaurants that have light and fresh menus, like Life Kitchen, which is located their headquarters here in Memphis, the Pontotoc Cafe that you will find down on Main Street, and Mama Gaia's just opened up in the Crosstown Concourse. So if you haven't tried these, you might give them a whirl. I love to live in Memphis because there's so much music in the air all the time. And there are so many great venues to see that music. My favorite thing to do on a summer or fall evening is to sit on the hill at Levitt Shell and watch wonderful musicians play for free audiences. The High Tone over by the concourse is also another favorite, as is Minglewood Hall. And yes, when we have out of town guests, we often end up on Beale Street. I've seen such great musicians as Steve Earle, Elvis Costello, Roseanne Cash, Leonard Cohen, and Dan Brown in some of these venues. And if you don't know who those people are, you can YouTube them and then feel free in your own video to teach me about your music. I'm particularly proud to be a Memphian because of our great history. Down at 706 Union Avenue, rock and roll was born, and rhythm and blues over at the Stax Museum, and we've got Graceland and unfortunately the Lorraine Motel. And there's nothing I like more than to brag on Memphis and to take visitors to these venues to let them know how historically important Memphis is and continues to be. And as we have some of our conversations about public discourse and argument this semester, these ideas kind of loom prominently in our public discourse of the moment as we seem to be struggling over many of the issues that we've been struggling over for 70 years now. And I look forward to having conversations and arguments, yes, public discourse arguments about these very topics. And that's my Memphis. Show me yours.
Then I'm walking in Memphis, just walking with my feet 10 feet off a beam. Walking in Memphis.